Let's go live to Toronto Police Headquarters for an announcement on the most wanted fugitives right across the country.
Good morning. My name is Max Landlois, and I'm the Executive Director of the Bolo program. One of the most common things I've heard about Bolo rewards over the years is, show me the money. Today, we show you the money. $1 million in rewards. $1 million. We're now going to proceed with a press conference, and we're going to come back for a photo op after. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. It should go without saying that as a police service, we're only as strong as our community partnerships. This includes partnerships with the people we serve and partnerships with organizations that share our global goal of community safety. The Bolo program is one of those organizations. And 6 years into our partnership, I can say with confidence that it has made communities safer, not only here in Toronto, but right across the country. It has done this in two ways. First, by offering up a sizable reward. And second, by consistently finding ways to grab the attention of the public. After all, without the public's attention, these campaigns would be meaningless. Members of the media, we've invited you to police headquarters many times before to view stacks of cash that is usually displayed alongside illicit drugs and guns seized by our officers during investigations. That cash is illicit money. It's illicit because it's been earned by exploiting our fellow residents, our neighbors, our friends, and our family members through crimes that take lives and irreparably harm lives across the city. On the table before me sits $1 million of legitimate money. This is how much money stands to be collected by being on the lookout for the wanted fugitives featured in Bolo's new Top 25 campaign. The new #1 suspect is Michael Bebby, wanted for the murder of Shamar Powell Flowers exactly 9 months ago. At the time of Shamar's murder, Michael Bebby was under a gun prohibition for his part in another Toronto shooting 4 years earlier. In a statement, Shamar's family said, "For 9 months, we have been crippled, not only by grief, but by the realization that there are people out there who could help us, but who instead have chosen to remain silent. People who could step up, as our amazing Shamar would have stepped up for them had the tables been turned. Had someone not chosen to carry a gun and fire a shot that left a hole in his heart, in our hearts, and the hearts of so many others." Our investigators have no doubt there are people out there who know where Michael Bebby has been hiding since Shamar was killed. For those hiding, Christian Cuxum, now #5 on the list. Neither doing the right thing nor a sizable reward announced last year has been enough for that tip we need to bring Mr. Cuxum to justice. But perhaps seeing the cash here on this table with the right people watching and the right circumstances will help. Because if there's one thing I've learned as a police officer serving this city for more than 3 decades, it's that circumstances can change. Circumstances do change, and good can be found in some of the most unexpected places. The names and faces featured in this campaign represent crimes that we as a society are grappling with in more ways than one. Firearm trafficking, the sale of illicit, often tainted drugs, intimate partner violence, murder. We work with communities in an effort to prevent these crimes. But when, despite our best efforts, tragedy strikes, we do what we can to support the victims and survivors left behind. And we work with our community partners, members of the media, members of the public, Crime Stoppers, and organizations like Bolo, to build and restore safety and the sense of safety that should be felt by all. This is what we are doing today. We are not looking for witnesses to testify in court. And thanks to the guarantee of anonymity provided by Crime Stoppers, we're not even looking for your name. We just need the tips that lead us to these suspects. If you see one of the individuals wanted in this campaign, if you even think you might know where they are, call Crime Stoppers, call us, call 911. To all the suspects featured in the top 25 list, today, your world gets smaller. We won't give up. We will find you. And we've now got $1 million in reward money to back us up. Do the right thing for yourselves, for your family, for your community, and for the countless people hurt by these crimes. Call a lawyer, call the police, make arrangements to turn yourself in. Because with Bolo, police are not the only ones on the lookout. Everybody is. Thank you.
Good morning. Bonjour à tous. Thank you, Chief. Over the past 6 years, the Bolo program has worked hard and has spent a lot of money to get eyeballs on our campaigns. We've plastered the faces of fugitives on billboards across this country. We've offered unprecedented rewards. Last year, we even created life-sized cutouts of wanted suspects for members of the public to experience in one of Canada's most prominent landmarks, Yonge Dundas Square. Today, for the first time, we are putting our reward money on the table, literally. $1 million of clean cash. Aujourd'hui, pour la toute première fois, nous plaçons l'argent de nos récompenses sur la table, littéralement. $1 million d'argent propre. This has never been done. It is unprecedented. This money doesn't cost you a dime. This is not police money. It is not funded by taxpayer dollars. The $1 million on the table before me is from Bolo, an initiative funded by the Stéphane Chrétien Foundation that is committed to amplifying most wanted cases in the name of safer communities. Cet argent ne vous coûte pas un sou, cet argent ne provient pas de nos services policiers, cet argent n'est pas financé par les contribuables. Le million de dollars sur la table.
All right, we have been listening to
une initiative financée par la Fondation Stéphane Chrétien, laquelle s'est engagée à amplifier les avis de recherche prioritaires pour rendre nos communautés plus sécuritaires. Following this news conference, the money will be returned to a trust account managed by a law firm, waiting for you to call in that tip that can make the difference for one of our cases. Bolo rewards are payable if the information you provide leads to the arrest of the suspect, period. There are no other conditions. Potential convictions in court have nothing to do with our rewards being paid out. But don't forget, all our rewards expire. So if you want to play your part in community safety and be rewarded for doing so, don't wait. Call in that tip. Since 2018, our biggest challenge has not been getting eyeballs on our campaigns. Our biggest challenge has been keeping them there. So today, Bolo is also launching a one-of-a-kind initiative to encourage members of the public to be on the lookout, not only today, but in the days and weeks to come. How? Simply by taking a portion of the money we usually spend on these flashy campaigns and using it to reward people for keeping their attention on our top 25. Beginning today, any Canadian resident aged 18 and older who visits the Bolo website, that's boloprogram.org, will have a chance to earn a number of high-value prizes. Introducing the Bolo lineup contest. All participants have to do is familiarize themselves with our top 25 fugitives and correctly identify some of them in a series of lineups. Aujourd'hui, nous lançons le concours Identification Bolo. Tout ce que les participants ont à faire est de se familiariser avec les fugitifs de notre top 25 et de les identifier correctement dans une série de séances d'identification. More than $35,000 worth of prizes are up for grabs, including a $10,000 travel voucher, MacBook Airs, PlayStation 5s, iPads, as well as prepaid credit cards and gift cards. Simply put, the Bolo lineup aims to reward people for paying attention. This is the fourth iteration of Bolo's top 25 list. Today's suspects come from 18 police services, 7 Canadian provinces, as well as the United States. I thank all our policing partners. A lot of you are in the room today, and Crime Stoppers partners as well. Bolo comes to you as a free service, but it requires a lot of coordination, and it brings in a lot of work. Bolo wouldn't be what it is without you. Very special thanks to the Toronto Police Service. Thank you, Chief Demkew, and Toronto Crime Stoppers. Thank you, Chair Sean Sporton, for working with us so closely to prepare this announcement. Before I conclude, let me go through our top 5 suspects, each with a reward of up to $100,000. Number 5, Christian Kusum, wanted for murder by Toronto Police Service. Number 4, Rabi Al-Khalil, a twice convicted murderer wanted for being unlawfully at large by the RCMP. Number 3, Cody Casey, wanted for drug and firearms offenses by Vancouver Police Department, including the production and trafficking of fentanyl. Al Boivin, recherché par la Sûreté du Québec pour trafic de stupéfiants. And our new number 1, Michael Bibby, wanted for murder by the Toronto Police Service. Our message to the public is simple. Please be on the lookout. Our message to these fugitives is also simple. Today is a good day to turn yourself in. You've evaded arrest so far, but you can't look over your shoulder every minute of every day. And the loyalty of your friends and associates will be tested today. It will be tested tomorrow, and it will be tested for the weeks and months to come. Do the right thing, call a lawyer, and make arrangements to turn yourself in. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Chief Demkew. Good morning, and thank you all for attending today's announcement. Let me first begin by thanking the Bolo program, specifically Maxime Langlois, for his partnership over the last 6 years and his dedication to enhancing the safety of Toronto's community and the communities across Canada. Community safety is a shared responsibility in which we all play an important role. As a community, we also have a role to play in supporting the victims of crime and their families who are hurting around us and allowing them to take the next steps forward in their most unfortunate journeys. Today, Toronto Crime Stoppers is once again urging you, members of our community, to entrust our program with your information to locate these most wanted individuals. Across Canada, Crime Stoppers represents a partnership between the public, the police, and the media that provides citizens in our communities a conduit to anonymously provide information about a crime, potential crime, or as with this initiative today, information on the whereabouts of wanted suspects. For over 40 years, Toronto Crime Stoppers has been proud to allow citizens in our community to provide anonymous information without the fear of retribution. And thanks to this partnership with the Bolo program, the potential for cash rewards of up to $50,000 and even $100,000. The information you provide Crime Stoppers will be immediately forwarded to the investigators assigned to these cases, most of whom are here today. Toronto Crime Stoppers will always guarantee your anonymity, and you will never be required to testify in court. It is important to also understand that your anonymity does not end with your successful tip. You will remain anonymous even as you collect your cash reward. For greater clarity, you can submit your tip and collect your cash reward without ever speaking to a police officer, without ever giving a statement, without ever testifying in court, and without anyone ever knowing your identity. With Toronto Crime Stoppers, you remain anonymous. Criminals don't. The role of our program remains the same for this new Top 25 initiative. Every one of these 25 cases is ready to go to court. Investigators are not looking for evidence. They're not looking for witnesses. They just need to know where these fugitives are located. If you know where these individuals are and wish to remain anonymous, call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477 or leave a tip online at 222tips.com. Our anonymous phone line and web tips are supervised 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and in over 200 languages. It is our duty as community members to be there for others, to speak up for those who cannot or will not. So if you know where these individuals are, if you have any information that can assist the investigators involved in these cases, be empowered to come forward, speak up, break the code of silence, and by doing so, you'll be making your community a safer place. Let's choose the difficult right over the easy wrong to speak up. I will end with this reminder. Community safety truly is a shared responsibility. The Bolo program rewards you for playing your part, and Toronto Crime Stoppers allows you to do it anonymously. Our program remains committed in our efforts to mobilize the community, to see it, say it, stop it for a safer Toronto. Remember, with Crime Stoppers, you remain anonymous. Criminals don't. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Merci à tous. Before we start the question period, I would like to remind reporters attending through our live feed that Bolo Director Max Langlois will be available for a bilingual online Q&A at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Please refer to the media advisory for attendance instructions. I would also ask that media stick to questions about Bolo, and once those are complete, we can take questions on other topics. Please use the mic. State your name, your media outlet, and to whom your question is addressed. Thank you.
All right. Hi, Shauna with City News. I guess, Max, I'll take you first. A question for you. Obviously, $1 million is sitting on the table here. In the 6 years of the Bolo program, how much reward money has been handed out so far?
I can answer in generic terms. So it's about 30 to 35% of all the rewards we've offered that have been collected.
Okay. Can you give us an idea of how many arrests have been made based on these campaigns?
So I'm excluding today's new suspects. Featured about 60 fugitives over the past 6 years, and it's 58 fugitives to be precise, and 21 of them have been featured. Again, I'm excluding the new suspects from today because that's day one for them.
Hi, Max. Catherine McDonald from Global. Can you just speak about last year, what happened, which we reported on, what happened after you did this launch? I know there was quite an interesting story that developed. Also, of the 25 from last year, how many are back on the list that you did not arrest, and how many did you capture from last year?
It's about half of them that are back on the list. Bolo is becoming a very on-demand program, so we receive a lot of case submissions from police services. So we have a committee helping us screen these cases. So it's about half of them that are coming back. Between May 1st, 2023 and today, it's only 2 suspects from the top 25 who got arrested, which is unusually low. But I can tell you without a doubt that the vast majority of these cases have progressed in terms of investigative leads. Microphone?
The most wanted,
Sorry, it's for online
Sorry,
reporters.
last year the most wanted man, I believe he was arrested very quickly, right? Can you speak?
2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years. That was 2 years ago.
Yes.
Can you speak to that case? Because I think that was quite an interesting.
He was arrested quickly, but that's not my case. It's a TPS case, so if there are any questions about the case, it's for TPS to answer.
Jean-Philippe Nadeau de Radio-Canada. Oui. 2 questions. La première, un peu répéter ce que vous venez de dire. Combien d'arrestations avez-vous faites depuis la création de ce programme?
Alors, le programme Bolo ne fait pas d'arrestation, mais on fait de l'amplification de dossiers, on se comprend, mais c'est important de le préciser pour moi. Alors, jusqu'à aujourd'hui, ce matin, on avait mis en vedette 58 suspects, et c'est 21 d'entre eux qui avaient été... en fait, c'est 22 d'entre eux qui avaient été localisés.
Et un suivi, vous parlez d'un précédent pour lancer ce genre de loterie. Est-ce que vous pensez vraiment que ça va fonctionner?
Bon, c'est pas une loterie, c'est un concours. Mais non, c'est important. Est-ce que ça va fonctionner? Le programme Bolo veut toujours essayer des nouvelles choses. Alors, on essaie quelque chose de nouveau. On prend une partie de l'argent qu'on met sur les campagnes, puis on veut le redonner au public.
Merci.
Ça fait plaisir.
Beatrice Faisman from CP24. I don't know if this is for Sean or for Max, but obviously people who are watching who might have a tip but are still feeling concerned that they might be revealed. Can you talk about what that process looks like, what you want someone to know who's thinking about calling in a tip of one of these fugitives?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. I mean, we can't get into specifics because we have to protect the anonymity of the tipster. But just have, we've now passed 40 years with Toronto Crime Stoppers, and not once with all the tips that have come in has a tipster ever been compromised. When you do call or you write in, you will be given a tip number, which will eventually turn into your bank account number, if you will. The team within the office will guide the tipster on how they can collect. And that's pretty much all I can say, just because of the infrastructure that we have in place. We don't want to compromise the anonymity of the tipster.
Any more Bolo questions?
If no one else does. Okay. This is for the police chief regarding Michael Beebe. Just, I don't know if you have any updates on the case. Do you believe that Michael Beebe is in Toronto, somewhere in the GTA? Do you think he's left the country? Anything you can share?
Well, what I will say is that we believe there are people who could assist us in finding him. And we do have investigators in the room. We can get into more details as they see fit, given the nature of the investigation. But we do believe there are people out there who have the information we need to bring him into custody.
Okay. Any other questions?
Hello, Mike Walker from CTV News Toronto. This question is for the chief. You announced yesterday, following the verdict in the Umar Zamir case, that there are 2 investigations you are launching. I want to get, first off, your reaction to the comments by Justice Bolo with allegations to collusion, and what your hope is, why you've launched these 2 separate investigations, and how they will play out.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure, I'll definitely take the question. Are we good to, okay. Listen, I appreciate that question. Just a couple of things on it. First of all, to be clear, what the justice, as I understand it, indicated was that the jury needed to consider various things in their deliberations, and one of them spoke about our officers, one of the considerations. And we have a process in place for this. We actually have a procedure that I put in place last year that when there are what we refer to as adverse comments by the judiciary, that we do conduct a review of the circumstances, take a good look at what happened, and respond to whatever we learn through that process. And that's precisely what I've asked the Ontario Provincial Police to do, to provide a level of independence that I believe this circumstance would benefit from. Secondly, the other review is something we're doing internally, and that is, our ongoing commitment of continuous improvement. We're going to take a look at all aspects of our work in plainclothes, and take a look at the lessons learned, not just from these circumstances, but of course from these circumstances, but also best practices, what's going on in the policing sector that we might look at bringing into this organization to make our response the best it could possibly be. And quite frankly, I think we owe it to everybody to do everything we possibly can to prevent these kinds of things from happening again. And we will look to learn and put in place whatever we possibly can.
Are there any lessons learned immediately after the result of this trial?
Well, listen, of course, my mind is turned to different lessons, but I don't want to preempt the important work of the review. And I'd like our review, the leadership of our review team, to bring together a multi-sectoral group of subject matter experts and come forward with, their findings.
Hi, Chief. It's Wendy Gillis from the Toronto Star. When this incident first happened, your predecessor, Chief Raymer, said it was intentional and deliberate. Was it a mistake to say that at the outset when all of the information was not there? And secondly, do you commit to releasing the results of the OPP report?
So thank you for that, Wendy. I don't feel it's really appropriate for me to go back in time and comment on another chief's comments. So I think.
Would you say the same thing again, though? Sorry to interrupt.
Sorry.
would you do the same thing again? Do you advise similar actions for the future? Or do you think it was ill-advised to speak about what happened without all the information?
Whatever happens in the future, I will take step by step based on the facts that are before me. And I'll be thoughtful to what I say, and of course, the lessons learned in all our encounters, including in this set of events. Your second question was about releasing the results. You have my commitment that I'll do everything possible to be as transparent as we can be, based on what we learned through that process.
Hello, Chief. JP Nadeau from the French CBC. If Justice Malloy had not said any statement, anything, would you have asked the OPP to investigate?
Well, I think I appreciate the question, but it's quite impossible for me to answer something that didn't happen. What did happen is the justice made comments. What did happen is that we have a procedure and a process that this organization put in place to deal with these types of circumstances, and we are making sure that that happens.
And second question, do you realize that maybe the confidence of the public in the police is down, and how do you, because it is alleged that 3 cops have probably lied on the stand, how are you prepared to repair that relationship?
Well, listen, again, I appreciate that question. You cut to the heart of a fundamental principle in policing, and that is the trust and confidence of our communities we serve. And, when I became chief, my very first priority was to improve trust in the Toronto Police Service. And we strive to do that each and every single day in all our encounters. In fact, when I meet with new recruits, when I meet with our supervisors, we stress the importance that every encounter that we have with the public matters, every single one. So we certainly recognize the concerns of the community, and we're going to do everything we can to rebuild trust in the best way we possibly can. And to that end, when I asked for a review, I asked for it to be done by an external agency and be independent of us, really, truly in the hopes of, providing some comfort that, we're moving towards rebuilding trust by examining the circumstances and doing so in an independent way. And as mentioned, in transparent way, the best possible transparency that we can offer in these processes.
Chief Erica Natividad, City News. You're talking about an independent review here. There are concerns that it's one police agency investigating another. How do you address that? Can it really be unbiased?
Well, listen, we will have safeguards in place to ensure that the OPP is able to conduct a review without concern in that regard. I have full confidence that we have police investigators in many organizations that can proceed through these types of reviews without, any kind of bias or concern. And we'll go where the facts lead us, and we'll take the findings and do what we need to do with that.
And one other question with regards to the internal review. Is this an acknowledgement that mistakes were made on that night in July?
I'm sorry, what was the last part?
With regards to the internal review of plainclothes procedures, is that an acknowledgement that mistakes might have been made that night in July?
No, I think it'd be premature to make any kind of statement like that. We owe it, quite frankly, to the legacy of our friend and colleague to do everything we can to learn and to do everything we can to prevent anything like this, these kinds of horrible tragedies from ever happening again. And I think I owe it to the membership of the organization that works, quite frankly, tirelessly and with great courage each and every day in harm's way to give them the best tools, the best equipment, the best training, and the best support so they can succeed. And that's precisely what we're going to do through this review.
Chief, Catherine McDonald from Bolo. On Sunday outside the courthouse, you talked about the process, and you said that that you were hoping for a different outcome. And then yesterday in your statement, you seem to be backtracking a bit. Do you want to clarify how you feel about the verdict that was delivered on Sunday? Have you changed your point of view? Because a lot of people felt that was maybe the police not acknowledging that a verdict had been come to by a jury that had spent 5 weeks and 3 days deliberating.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the opportunity to address that. Thank you. It's not lost on me what the conversation has been, and I completely appreciate that. You know, on Sunday, I thought it was clear that I supported the justice system and the work of the jury. You know, as I look back, let me be emphatic about that, and I appreciated the opportunity yesterday to clarify how emphatic I am. In my career, I have always been a supporter of the justice process, including all elements of the system that leads us towards justice. And while we all see closure in many different ways, and as elusive as closure can be sometimes in a court process, closure is something that we certainly look for. But as I said yesterday, as I was confident I said Sunday, closure does not come at the expense of justice. And let me be crystal clear. I support and accept the verdict of the jury.
Thanks.
Two more questions.
If I could make just a follow-up, what about an inquest into the death of Officer Northrop? Do you think that would be a good idea for transparency reasons, for example?
Well, listen, I'm not sure. I mean, that's a decision of another set of experts, and we'll await that process, and we'll continue our commitment to learning and doing what we need to do to move forward in an effort of always improving how we conduct ourselves in our operations. But really, truly, I have to wait and see what the decision is from the coroner.
Chief Megan Fitzpatrick from CBC News. Just to follow up on Catherine's question there and just your now emphatic statement about accepting the verdict from the jury. On Sunday, you said you were hoping for a different outcome. The outcome was a not guilty verdict. Did you misspeak then? Or on Sunday, when you said that, did you mean you were hoping Mr. Zamir was found guilty?
No, I think, you know, again, in the context of the totality of the circumstances, what I was trying to convey is that I accept the jury's findings. And we are an organization that's grieving and trying to work through finding some path towards closure. So, you know, I think I really appreciated the opportunity yesterday to clarify. And let me say it again, I do accept the jury's findings, always have. We are obviously, you know, looking for an opportunity for closure. And, but to be clear, the jury's findings are what I accept, and I thought I was clear Sunday, but I want to make sure I'm clear on that now.
Thank you. Mr. Zamir's defense lawyer accused your officers of lying on the stand and of committing collusion by writing their notes together in the same room, for example. Yeah. Did your officers lie on the stand, and was there any collusion?
Well, again, it's completely inappropriate for me to comment on that at this stage. This is why there is an independent review, and we'll let the review do the work that is required.
Okay, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
That concludes the media conference.
Okay, we've been listening live to Police Chief Myron Demkew, who basically this started off as an announcement about $1 million in rewards, a new incentive for the top 25 most wanted fugitives. And it quickly turned into Demkew answering a myriad of questions as it related to the not guilty verdict in the case of Umar Zamir as it relates to the death of Constable Jeffrey Northrop. And Demkew clarifying that he does accept the not guilty verdict as rendered by the jury.